Today we are gathered here this morning to convey our grave concerns with challenges that our democratic experience is going through. We are a cross-section of leaders and political stakeholders from across the country. We have come together to address the dangerous and unconstitutional actions taken by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on March 18, 2025, to wit, the declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State and the illegal suspension of the democratically elected governor, deputy governor, in the State House of Assembly. This action is not only unlawful, but also a clear subversion of democracy and imposition of autocratic federal control over a duly elected state government. We strongly condemn this development and call on all Nigerians of good conscience to resist this brazen assault on the constitution of our country and the institutions of our democracy. The president's illegal and unconstitutional proclamation was presumably driven by the protracted, insidious political crisis in Rivers State, which culminated in the recent ruling of the Supreme Court. Naturally, we expected all parties to the dispute to follow laid down procedures and in good faith to comply or to promptly implement the judgment of the highest court of the land. We know that despite proactive statements and belligerent attitude of these opponents, Governor Fubara has demonstrated goodwill and appeared disposed to the implementation of the ruling of the Supreme Court. However, rather than rise above the fray, the president yielded to petty favoritism and betrayed the oath that he solemnly swore to before God and man, which was to do, and I quote, do right to all manner of people according to law, without fear or favor, affection, or ill will, and I quote. If President Tinubu had conveniently disguised his true intention in the past, his broadcast to the nation on 18th March 2025 betrayed his bias and fell far below the standard of comportment expected from his exalted office. Now, let's go to the various constitutional violations. Number one, illegal removal of a governor and state assembly. Without any doubt, the Nigerian Constitution does not empower the president to remove an elected governor, deputy governor, or state assembly under any circumstances. The procedure for removing a governor is clearly outlined in Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, through an impeachment process initiated by the State House of Assembly, not by presidential proclamation or arbitrary pronouncement. Number two, misuse of Section 305 of State of Emergency. Section 305 of the Constitution allows the President to declare a state of emergency only in the extreme cases where public safety, national security, or Nigeria's sovereignty is at serious risk. However, it does not grant him the power to suspend elected officials or to demolish democratic structures as he has brazenly done in Rivers State. Furthermore, Section 305(1) states that any proclamation of emergency is subject to the provisions of the Constitution, meaning it cannot override the tenure and removal procedures of a governor. Number three, failure to meet constitutional requirements for emergency rule. The conditions under Section 3053 for declaring a state of emergency include the following. 1. War or external aggression, breakdown of public order and safety, natural disasters or any other grave emergency threatening Nigeria's corporate existence. None of these conditions exist in the current circumstances in Rivers State. There is no war, no widespread violence, and no breakdown of law and order warranting emergency declaration. Failure to follow due process. Even if an emergency declaration were valid, which it is not, it will still require a 2/3 majority approval of all members of the National Assembly. That is at least 72 senators and 240 members of the House of Representatives. If this approval is not secured, the proclamation must automatically cease to have effect. Number 5, alternative legal avenues were ignored. If the issue was the dysfunction of the Rivers State House of Assembly, the President could have encouraged the National Assembly to intervene under Section 11 of the Constitution. However, even under such an intervention, the governor and deputy governor cannot be removed by any arm of government except through constitutional means, as the proviso to Section 11(4) clearly provides. A manufactured crisis for political control. This state of emergency declaration is not about security. It is about power grabbing and control in Rivers State. The disagreements within Rivers State stem from the defection of 27 assembly members from the PDP to the APC, their loss of seats under constitutional provisions, and the subsequent political maneuvering to undermine the governor's mandate. Rather than allowing the law to take its course, the federal government has engineered a crisis to justify this obviously premeditated and brazenly cynical and unconstitutional action. We find the federal government excuse of pipeline vandalism quite untenable and even laughable. The security of national infrastructure falls squarely under the responsibilities of federal security agencies and privately contracted security firms. If this issue had to do with breach of security in whatever form, the question that should naturally be asked: who controls the police, the military, and the DSS, the governor or the president? Now, ladies and gentlemen, our demand and call to action. Number 1, immediate reversal. We call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to immediately revoke this unconstitutional proclamation and reinstate the elected governor, deputy governor, and state assembly of Rivers State. 2, National Assembly reduction. We call on patriotic senators and representatives to vote against this illegal action when it comes before them for approval. The National Assembly must stand on the right side of history and not allow itself to be used to legitimize an unconstitutional power grab. 3, judicial intervention. We urge the judiciary to act swiftly in striking down this proclamation, as it sets a dangerous precedent that could be used to arbitrarily remove any governor in the future. I am very happy to read the ruling of a judge in Rivers State which directed a status quo. Number 4, Nigerians must defend democracy. It's not only the responsibility of the opposition to defend democracy. It's the responsibility of all Nigerians, all of you, to defend democracy. Otherwise, there won't be a Nigeria. We call on all civil society organizations, political groups, and Nigerians of good conscience to stand firm in the defense of this democracy that we all have toiled to build. Rivers State is not a conquered territory, and Nigeria is not a dictatorship requiring the replacement of an elected governor with a military administrator. We recall that even when a previous administration had declared a state of administration in parts of the country bedeviled by insurgency and acts of terrorism, the governors of the concerned states were not removed from office, as this administration has done. This action by Tinubu therefore represents a new law for our country. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the historical unrest in the Niger Delta should not be forgotten so soon. Past administration had made great efforts and sacrifices to restore peace and stability to the Niger Delta, which is critical to the economic health and stability of Nigeria itself. This federal government should not manufacture political crises that could disrupt the fragile stability and return the country to the past that we have all prayed to leave behind for good. We must never allow personal political interests and the desire to hold on to power at all costs to throw the country into unavoidable chaos through brazen subversion of the principles of federalism, democracy, and constitutional governance. This is not just about Rivers State. It is about the future of Nigeria's democracy.